Last time on the Great Ace Attorney 2. You won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life, to save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
I understand. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Mr. Sholmes! I didn't expect to see you on this side of the room.
That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me at home with Hurley.
But you live together. I thought you liked him. No.
It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay.
No, how awful.
Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. As you have remarkably little grounding in science, as compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation is quite impossible. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis.
What you demonstrated was incredible, all right. An incredible explosion!
There's no need to shout, I'm stood beside you. But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked.
And you know what else worked? All the men that had to scrape up the gibbets from off of the scaffolding. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
Goof. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury. A fatal wound. You know, more fatal than the broken neck, I guess. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So, what was the nature of this sharp object?
Among the accused's tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest.
There it is. My trusty little companion, Andrew.
He names his tools.
Andrew, of course.
Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big, happy family.
Oh, dear.
I've stood next to a Fruit Loop again.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Disillusion Plays the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we play the games and do the voices.
Yeah.
I'm Pete.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Taylor.
Nice. And don't forget, everyone, if you like what we do, why don't you hit that like button, hit the subscribe
Pete,
button, and
how are they
ring
gonna
the
know
bell.
if they like what we do?
Hey,
oh wait!
If you feel like you might like this, anyway, if you do like what we do, you know what to do. This absolutely is not a reference that hasn't happened yet.
I was literally about to say. So for those, this is going to be a glimpse into the future because
again,
in the future, Pete will interrupt me in Danganronpa, and so this is me going back to the past to interrupt him.
Yeah,
I'm a time traveler.
Yeah, something like that.
Honestly, I'm working with children.
I'm working with amateurs.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, but it's true. Anyhow, we should probably jump back into the game because we've got voices to remember. So.
Oh yeah. So all right, Pete. So start thinking about your two jurors now.
Yes.
I will, but also. We were told by somebody in a comment, which we almost completely forgot about, so sorry about that, to do the "excuse me" on Harebrayne when he's not, like, at an inappropriate time, and it would be an amusing line of dialogue.
Okay.
So yes. So I'm going to do what I was going to do before anyway, and just go through the rest of this dialogue.
Yeah.
And then we'll excuse me him on the next way.
Unless you've got some other bright ideas, sunshine. In which case, let's hear it.
No, got nothing.
Not a dicky bird.
My learned friend's silence is your answer, Inspector.
Is Dicky Bird rude? I don't think
No.
it's rude.
Dicky Bird.
No, not a dicky bird is.
No. I mean,
not heard a thing.
Can't a man have a moment to think?
Nope.
All right then.
So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Van Zieks keep that to himself until now on purpose? To gain the advantage?
No. The prosecution
Oh, well.
keeping something to themselves for the advantage? No.
I did it to put myself at a disadvantage, actually. I wanted to give myself more work later. Make it to remind everyone how smug I am.
I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. You know, like I don't do every other time.
All right then, so let's... Oh, wait. Was it that last statement then, I guess? Must have been. All right, sorry. Boop, boop, boop. I guess, can we press this and then excuse me?
Hold it! What grounds do you have for saying that? Ha! Do you really need to ask?
All right then.
Excuse me! Professor Harebrayne, are you hiding something from the court?
Oh, Christ. Okay.
Aha! It's 4. Ah! What was that? I was calculating the neutralization coefficient of electrical charge required for electrolysis of a human subject. I have to keep the result a secret at all costs, you see. That's why I ate the paper I did my working on. But now I've completely forgotten the number. Dearie me, I am a scatterbrain sometimes. Well, moments before you ate the paper, you did yell out the number 4. No! You know it? Yes, so Seki. Dang it. Gosh, darn it. You know it? You know my secret coefficient? Oh dear. Oh no. This is bad. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have revealed the nature of my hidden coefficient to the entire populace. My reputation and my trademark are in shambles. Perhaps you could just focus on the testimony? How can I? Right, so we go through there again, blah, 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 blah. Right, so go through here, you got stabbed, we press the statement. Hold it! We wait for him to do the thing, and then we do the excuse me. Bada bing,
Properly this time.
bada boom.
Excuse me? Professor Harebrayne, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that? Yes, of course. It seemed as though you might have something to say, in your own defense, as this is your trial where you are being accused of murder, about Inspector Gregson's last remark.
No.
Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know! But there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say.
Explain, please, Professor.
For you see, I have no hands! Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals, with blood running continuously through their veins.
Oh, hey, and I'm about to get some of that blood running on the banister right over here if you keep it up. I had heard.
Then surely you see. If I'd plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool.
Oh?
But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see? Not one.
Yeah, true. I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument.
But I have a witness.
But you see, I have updated the autopsy report.
He's not Edgeworth.
Order! Order!
No, he's Edgeworth's ancestor.
I think it's time if I poured myself a bit of a
No,
drink.
there was no blood because I got a straw and sucked it all up.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends adducing.
That's a conflict of interest.
Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Baroque. But I'm really not a patch on you.
Throws it in his face.
No, you're not. No? You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab.
Oh no, is this the Shishito all over again?
Say shishito.
Because if he left Andrew in,
Yeah,
it would plug up the wound.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, of course!
Inspector gets it. Enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir! Where are they going with this?
Oh, I feel like I sense another testimony coming on. Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air.
Right, let's get the picture. So we've got a photograph.
Look at this photograph. Not that one, not that one, that one.
I don't think... No, it's not there.
Is this a photo of him at the crime scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him after he's beamed across, and he's saying it must have still been in his body.
Just gonna do
So
a
it's
little
like-
safety save.
I don't see no screwdriver.
Let's do a safety save for no
His name is Andrew.
I don't see no Andrew.
Objection!
It was worth doing the safety save.
What?
That last statement would seem to be at odds somehow with the evidence. I suppose we have to press the statement first.
Oh, for God's sake. Have we done the frickin' banana again?
I think we did.
I believe we have.
That's it. We need, guys,
Fine.
we need to show the picture of the banana.
Hold it!
Fine, I'll shut up.
Why would you think that, Inspector? With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs.
Unless there's a blood thingamajig on it, a blood groove, I think it's called.
Blood groove?
No, actually, it's the like
Channel.
the groove in.
Yeah. Like
You're talking about a
swords.
fuller.
Is that what it's called?
You're talking about the groove in the middle of the sword, eh?
Aye, correct.
But no, a fuller is not for letting blood run out.
it's
It's
not.
actually to reduce the overall mass of the weapon because you don't really need the steel in that place.
I'm pretty sure it also
No,
it's both.
It's a myth. I think it's a myth, the blood channel
It
thing.
was made up by a writer.
It's a misconception, I believe, from what I heard.
I mean, it makes sense about the mass because everyone's always trying to cheap out on materials, aren't they? It makes sense. It's just like modern day.
Whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word. I see. It is funny that we've come full circle with this freaking blood stopper stabby thing.
You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator.
Where's Susato-san when you need her?
Yes, come back,
I'm afraid I'm in
Susato-san.
Japan.
She used to come back. I miss her.
If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Osmond in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy schmancy device and the screwdriver still where he planted it.
I would never do such a thing! Not to my precious tools! I would never use them for such dirty work. You only use tools for their intended purpose. That's common knowledge for any scientist. The fact remains. The pool of blood at the scene can easily be explained. As
Lack
the
of blood.
The lack of blood? You know what I mean. As the prosecution has demonstrated.
So that's all the testimony I have to work with.
Yeah.
Oh, do we need the autopsy report? Because the autopsy report might say if something was lodged in his chest
Yeah,
still?
probably. Experiment sketch. Oh,
Clipboard.
sorry. I was looking for an envelope. Palm of death, hemorrhage wound inflicted by a sharp implement, a broken vertebra. Or would it be? I don't know. I was going to say, like, is it because of the screwdriver? If it was left in, it's like, well, there's no blood up here, though.
Does it say where the screw... Don't matter.
I don't know. Because they're implying that it was like a massive gaping wound, right? But then the screwdriver, like, only the tip of it has blood on it. It's been left in his body
Unless
while
it's the
he was...
screwdriver, because it says it's...
Oh, did we find it?
Oh,
It
the
was
bill and the
found
grace of... Oh, right.
When we
Okay,
found it.
yeah.
I know it's kind of a bit counterintuitive, because it's kind of like, well, he could have stabbed him then, but I don't know.
No, but it's saying that it was left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. But yeah, we found it at the thing.
But it was in the grill of the base of what
Yes.
remains of the machine, yeah. Objection! You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage.
What?
What?
You what, mate?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Now you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate?
In my defense, Lady Iris was giving me the big eyes, and
That you
Contravened.
I saw myself making the mistake and was about to correct it. That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
no, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. It was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing. Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What? What are you getting at? If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the
Damn it. Victim.
No, I'm just thinking of the thing that's going to happen in the future.
Okay.
If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage.
Oh, bother.
That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest.
That's me wages gone again.
Order! How do you explain this, Inspector? I nearly said investigator. I am not doing well.
That's all right, Professor Van Zieks.
I didn't say
well,
anything.
I don't. I'm gonna have to switch to Chich and Phipps. It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed.
Yeah.
If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. All right, time to tighten the screws here.
Oh, see what you did there.
My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its arguments, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon.
Oh, is that a challenge?
Lord Van Zieks is stumped.
I'm just thinking. Hey, hold it!
Oh,
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes, I knew it. It bears out.
No.
The equations hold.
Professor Harebrayne?
Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry, don't worry!
Mr. Harebrayne, if you're about to poke holes in what I've just
could you
said,
just
I'm
stop?
going to actually strangle you. About what?
Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency.
you fool.
Bastard.
You!
What?
Oh,
Even if Andrew had been lodged into Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations.
oh, you harebrain.
What?
You absolute harebrain.
Oh, God!
My eyes!
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation.
No, I believe he's done enough damage by opening up his mouth.
Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation?
Oh, don't stroke his ego.
Just when I'd found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument.
I hate people.
Scientists.
Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
Oh boy.
God dang it.
There's always one.
Yeah. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
I hate you
But
so
you've just
much right
basically proven you're guilty and you're going to jail. Oh well. Guess you did a poor job there.
now. Prosecutor Van Zieks, could I please have the bottle of that wine?
No.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is...
That based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
In other words...
In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency.
And therefore,
That's it, Judge. And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrayne could still have been the killer.
Oh, I did not calculate for this.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrayne,
Yes.
whose side are you on here?
I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
Good, you can hold it up in prison then. Ugh.
Now, if only I could have a pirate I could go on an adventure with.
Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponi.
Friend. Yes. Fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Who I want to fire away, all right.
Question is...
Iris?
Ready?
Gun!
What would you like, this gun or the cat flapper mat?
The cat flap mat,
Or the
please.
big bazooka with GPS tracking.
I think the cat flapper map. Definitely. I'm going to build you into
Just
the door.
brings her full arsenal. Just lays it out on the bench.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data. I
Is there
guess
anything
press
that-
everything.
Is there
right?
anything that he's wearing that is metal to kind of...
Oh, that's a
He's
good...
wearing
the
his
glasses! His glasses. Yep, the glasses are metal.
Oh, well done, sir. Immediately. Cannot transform how it is the metal weapon. I mean, I guess this
Oh,
statement,
no, I'm
right?
not... no, because I was wrong last time.
Sir,
I think we should try it.
it might be... You know what?
We might have to press
Using
first.
that logic... Boom.
Objection!
Oh,
Sarah, you were right.
okay.
Professor Harebrayne, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
I have terrible news for you. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene.
Presumably his glasses were added to him after he was beamed over. Someone was on the other side and gave him his glasses.
In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? What? Metal? No, metal can't... metal? No!
We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place.
Boom.
Ah! my hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Shots fired.
Professor Harebrayne, this isn't easy for me to say.
But I think you might be a fraud.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism. It's a very difficult word to say. But your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Oh, there we are. Oh, where'd Gregson go?
Now, if you just not acted like a ninny, you could have at least left with your delusions intact. But no, I had to disassemble them in front of the entire court. Here we are.
Order! Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
But my hypothesis is sound.
No, it isn't!
I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work.
Objection!
Oh,
It's him.
Objection! If I could say something here, in my capacity as a Fellow of the Royal Society. Slightly mixed the two voices there together. Yes, juror number 4. Go ahead. As a man of science, there's only one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud.
Yes. Oh no. What's it? Can I say the oh no.
He's more Boise.
Yeah, I know, but it was like, I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No! Never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What the devil was that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
Oh, very good.
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor?
I'm just well, he disproved my original theory, so I'm just going to wait and see.
I just want to let him wriggle a little bit. Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being.
My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
But what about the special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this ought to match.
If it's determined that the machine itself was a murder weapon, I think you'll find that act won't apply.
Of course it was a murder weapon! Anyone can see that as plain as day!
So we're all in agreement, are we? That the machine should be stripped?
If I don't do something, they'll... Objection! Professor Harebrayne has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so...
Even so, what?
The machine wasn't the murder weapon, so it's still protected under the Act. Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection! He had an obvious reason to do exactly that! For the research grant money.
Oh!
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators?
What would be the value of such a grant? £10?
Oh, no. You're an order of magnitude out, madam. £500 a year.
Oh, yeah, you could have been living handsome on that much for years.
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
Uh-oh. Guys, I think we should have objected before.
No! I haven't deceived anyone, least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound. My science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection! I must do nothing. No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Ah, Barack. And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Oh.
Barack.
I celebrated too soon.
Oh, goodness.
Where is this heading? I have no idea.
My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Van Zieks?
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses?
Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
I wonder if his apprentice is going to be there.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend.
Oh, yes?
It's time for you to make your own stance clear.
Upright.
There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
I mean, I think our stance is that the machine never worked to begin with.
Yes, we shall take a short recess now. During which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
Oh, thank you.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
But that's going to take us through the end of the episode.
I'm afraid our 20 minutes compared to in-game 20 minutes is a little lot, very, very different.
Well, it does vary, doesn't it? Because we've got like a sort of a time distortion field.
Yeah. Seems
Especially when we try to see how long it takes on average to beat a game.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about that, darling. No.
No, darling.
The Old Bailey defendant's antechamber.
Oh no.
Mr. Naruhodo. What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing all along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been poking holes in it from the start.
Sorry about that.
But you promised me! You said you'd prove that dratted explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me!
Oh, like what you did.
Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
How dare you? But if I just run through some equations, yes. You see, it's because my work is incomplete.
Allow me to shove your hypothesis up your posterior. If you dare to
Perhaps
make
it
up a-
is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
No. Of course.
Oh no!
Hey, pipe it down over there.
You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
Me too, pal. Well, that might be a little over the top.
And while we're on the subject... What about Baroque? He's being awful.
Oh, that's just him normally.
Claiming his own old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? I think you'll find that when he uses the term friend, he doesn't really mean it. At least not in my experience.
I mean, it's the tell is the bleh after he says friend.
Nibbly.
He's a disaster. Not just a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no. Wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up.
Oh, I'm a vampire.
Can I double check something with you?
Oh, yes. And triple check if you'd like. And quadruple check. Yes? What?
The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved?
I am a man of science. How dare you? I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So, yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it.
All right, Professor, I understand.
That does make
sort of.
that does make it sound an awful lot like there might have been some trickery involved, and he was trying to show a proof of concept rather than an actual working device.
Yeah.
What?
No.
No. Company people have never just put out a highly advanced proof of concept only for the game to then later be bad. EA. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Ubisoft.
Are you alright there, Taylor?
goodness
Have you got
me.
something stuck in your throat?
All right, Professor, I understand.
Counsel, defendant! The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please.
Alrighty then.
It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound, as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant.
A practical implementation, such as what was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. I literally, when I saw Professor, I don't know what it is. You guys have ruined, like, Professor,
Don't blame
Prosecutor.
me! Don't blame me!
Don't blame me!
Yeah, Professor Edgeworth. It's just ruined it.
I'm calling this now. You know, the magician dude hasn't said much. We're going to have a point at which we show the diagram to the guy. He's like, yes, I can see the trickery involved. Very clearly, there's a trap door right here that wasn't accounted for originally. Mwahaha. So, really, what should I be trying to prove here?
See who we've got now.
Yes.
Nobody. Oh, perfect. No witnesses. Great.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
No.
You don't think...
No.
You know, I'm probably just talking out my arse, but you don't think one of them might actually be Iris, do you?
She wasn't there.
No, she wasn't an eyewitness to the demonstration.
No,
She
no,
never
of
got to
course.
see it, did she?
Gina might be, though.
Yeah. I was just thinking of, like, what models we've got, and also, because of having to disappear to do something, I was like, could this be where she comes back in? But no.
I doubt it.
No. I'm a stupid... The prosecution is ready, my lord.
As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So that might well be Gina then, maybe. Oh, it's not Rowley, is it?
It wouldn't refer to her as a detective,
No.
though.
So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable.
Well, I'm not sure I would say that.
Can be considered highly reliable.
We've tried that once
I don't know where that
before,
cough
remember?
sound came from, but if you could please not interrupt me while I'm speaking, that would be greatly appreciated.
perfect. A detective of all people.
Oi!
It's freaking Gregson again. Although he's not a detective. Dick Gumshoe. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time. The accused.
Oh, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally.
Sounds an awful lot like people that I'm going to have to question so that the truth is no longer so
Okay.
Oh.
And
and Gina.
Oh, there's Gina.
Okay.
witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. Balthazar Loon. Do you want
He's
to
he's a balloon guy.
Do you want to take
Balloon.
balloon?
Balloon.
Do you want to take this guy?
Sure. Let's see.
Or do you want to, Sarah? You were saying you felt bad about.
No.
No? All right.
My name is Balthazar. No, that's too much. That's like Ryunosuke. My name is Balthazar Loon.
Oh, that's good.
I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in the vicinity of the Espero. I don't
is
want to
he?
do like an Italian accent. That would be. I would feel very bad for that. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the Esperimento stage.
Oh, that's Scottish. Oh.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
German.
Oh, is that-
Oh, I did not expect. Okay. My name is Wilhelm Gottsgr. Oh my
Gosrich
God.
Sigmund Ormenstein. Ormstein.
Ornstein. Oh no.
Ormstein.
My name
Not
is
Ormstein.
Wilhelm Gottsgr.
My name, my wife.
I did not say that, you little cowbag. My name is Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ornstein. It's Sigismund Ornstein.
Yeah.
I have come to see the great exhibition from all the way from my homeland in Bohemia. It's a balloon, yes.
That could.
Ah, Doug. I am very rich.
Oh, rabbit in wide, don't you? Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scottish Yard. I'm a
Yeah.
great detective. Even Sherlock Sholmes agrees.
That's it. Gina Lestrade, Scottish Yard.
Oh, right.
I like to.
did
She's
think
just
of
like picking the little kids' pockets as she's standing there, like, I
Yeah.
am 1, I am 2, I am 3.
She's just like until she leaves the
I could-
courtroom and it's like rat like shh, shh, shh.
Blimey, he is rich and all.
Like Gina.
Mein Gott, that's all of my, whatever the heck.
Mein Gott, where have all of my
Deutschmarks gone?
my
Deutschmarks gone.
my Deutschmarks? Where have all of my guineas gone?
Kiddies.
It's like Gina, your pockets look very heavy.
Don't know what you mean. Official police business, this. It's my wages for the week.
For the year.
Oh, yeah. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got up to go in one of the balloons. It was amazing.
Gina. Again.
All right, Ado. How's it going?
Otto.
But you didn't expect to see me here, did you?
No, I didn't. I'm positively thrilled. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it.
Don't you know it?
Yes,
The-
darling. Everybody loves my balloons.
There were I thought you said you weren't going to do the Italian accent. You changed your mind.
I don't. I think I changed my mind. We'll see.
There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred.
I wished for 99 Luftballons, but they would not give me them.
2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low.
Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can you?
60 feet. About 18 meters then.
Metras.
Metras.
Taylor, for God's sake.
Thank you for
I had to do one.
Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony to the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above.
Wait, no,
the
I've
stage.
decided. I'm going to do as good of an Italian accent as Chris Pratt did for the Mario movie.
It's a me.
It's a me, Balthazar Loon. That's not the
your
voice.
It's just your normal voice. It's a me, a Mario.
That's not the voice.
Okay.
It was an incidente It was an incidente terrible. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
There's a huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky besides us.
And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I did get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Oh, is that what they've done? They've had the cage up in the balloon, and they dropped it out through the bottom. Because it said there was another bang from a balloon beside them.
Yeah.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions?
More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes? When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. To be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called bird cage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred, directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
So I bet what will have happened is that there were like 2 separate cages. One that was on the stage that there was a trap door that it fell down into. And then there was another cage up in the air in a balloon that got released. The explosion that happened was a misdirection so that people wouldn't notice the cage disappearing.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide.
Oh no, I've lost my balloon.
Oh, could you please, would you kindly?
Here
Thank
you
you,
are.
sir. Dunk. I still have lots of money
Show off.
at the moment.
I'll soon see to that.
As you can hear my pockets jingling. Yes?
Wait, why is it not jingling anymore?
Like, wait a second. Wait a second.
Was it jingle from my pockets? Where has it gone?
I don't know. Mystery that.
Precisely, who is this curious infant?
Who is this small, sassy, lost child?
I am told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition.
So you could say he's not just a poor boy from a poor family.
Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
Oh.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony.
Benefit?
The benefit.
Do we really need that?
I'll do.
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Oh, yes, I see. Delightful face, I'm sure. If only I could see from this distance. Honestly, my eyesight really isn't up to that sort of
I
thing.
really need to go to Specsavers.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then.
The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated, as the child with childlike wonder will surely attest. And furthermore, that unlike the arrival of the police, no one... And furthermore, that until, the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Asman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder.
Oh, yes. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please. We can't keep the child up too late, otherwise it'll be past his bedtime.
Yes, my lord.
Hello there, it is me. Yes, oh, look, they are looking at me now.
You might wonder why I have fire in my hat, and it is to keep the balloon atop
Oh, I
of the
didn't
float.
notice that.
Did you not? Yeah,
No, I
like
didn't.
his little fire. Yeah.
All right, it's huge.
It is a somewhat of a questionable choice, but, appearances and such.
From amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. Cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the Crystal Tower. I didn't get a good look from inside the cage, but no one went near it. I guess we press everything.
Mm-hmm.
The old faithful.
Hold it! There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand? Si. All 3 of them are my bellissimi bambini. Bellissimi bambini?
Yeah,
Beautiful
I think
babies,
so.
I guess. They're very popular, senor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10?! That's more than my annual stipend!
£20 a month. That is my pocket money.
Jesus Christ.
I hate you so much. Royals have all the luck.
I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know?
Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. Do not ask me how I learned that one.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
See, and the zone above a public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. I might be a murder victim in a little bit here, actually.
Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord.
Hold it! So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air?
Yep. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh?
What a defective detective
Oh,
gets to do.
Shut up, will you?
A defective? Well, that sounds a bit like a Freudian slip.
Oh, here we go. I've made another meme for myself,
Oh
haven't I?
no. Gina the defective detective.
I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer is a man's game. You should join the force so we can go flying together.
You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think?
Everything. We saw everything, because we're up above it all.
Yes. Thank you for that precise explanation.
Well, you did ask me what I saw. That dodgy cove climbing into that cage and that dodgy professor pulling them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was all that massive bang and the cage disappeared. Just like that.
So I guess the cage falls down into the tower, into its own, like the sort of the receptacle that it's on.
Yeah.
And then the other one, as you say,
At
like...
the same time, one is deployed from a balloon up in the air.
Yes.
You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was this other bang, right in me ear. I looked round, and there was this huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. But there was nothing there before.
Oh, it's the little boy. We'll loop back round.
And what appears out the flames? The cage, that's what. What appears out the flames? Oh my God, I can't even talk now.
And that description sounds like a moment after the man was beamed instantaneously through space.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But that's the 20th century for you, I reckon.
So the people who actually saw the demonstration with their own eyes really believe they saw something miraculous taking place.
Okay, whoopsie. Whoop, wrong way. Whoop. Whoop. Gina.
Hold it!
Right, so we'll go through here. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Excuse me.
Excuse me, small child. Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ?
Mine teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone, of course, yes. Mine teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
I don't have time for that.
Ah, yes, what was it again?
Mein Gotts. Mein Gotts. Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein.
Ah, yes.
Let's see if Taylor's voice actor can say it fully. Because
Just
mine
the
can't.
full names, then. The point is, do you have something to say?
You haven't said my names yet.
Mr. Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein?
Oh, well done. Well done. Yeah.
Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps?
Oi! Get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade.
Actually, you
No,
think of it,
it's Defective Lestrade.
I'm sorry.
You sound sorry.
I am a little bit.
Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh?
Yeah. There was a second explosion, and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure...
Which is what I said, innit? 1 minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion.
Please, madam, if you could spend less time picking my pockets and more time listening to me for a
Oi,
moment,
that
you
sounds
may...
a bit like slander,
you
you
may-
little muffin, ragamuffin.
Oh, Madonna mia.
That is very unkind. Oh, no. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
Well, that explains a couple things in my regard. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy?
Are they brought up to be so full of joy?
I don't know, are they?
Dunno.
At least he's not from Sonia's home country.
Oh, blimey.
He doesn't have to raise a scong.
Scone.
Or has military practice at the age of 3. But yes, unfortunately, we are out of time once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes. It is time for us to bid you farewell for another week.
Unfortunately so.
Sorry.
But if you do like what we do, then don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and you'll be notified of our video uploads every Wednesday and Saturday. And feel free to leave a comment down below as well.
Yeah. We might not manage to reply to them all, but we do read them. So it's all good fun. We do enjoy what you say. Thank you very much.
And remember, if you're a rambling scientist and you are about to incriminate yourself, just remember the advice from Treasure Planet and shut your howling screamer.